So this is part 4 of the Mario tutorial, and in this part I'm going to show you how to make a power-up like the Fire Flower that lets your player shoot projectiles. So we'll jump into where we left off in part 3, and we're going to be able to use a similar script to the heart block for the Fire Flower block. So the first thing we're going to do is just resize this to give us some more room. We'll move these in a little bit closer, and we'll copy one of these blocks to use for our Fire Flower block that's going to spawn the Fire Flower power up. And then we'll drag out a power up, and we'll set the image to the red gem. It's going to be our Fire Flower. And we'll move this guy over here just to make it a bit easier. And then we need to set up the script for the power up. It's going to look really similar to the heart script, but there's going to be just one little difference. So we'll start out the same with just deactivating it so we can use it for spawning. And then we'll do the spawn. This time we'll use hit 3. And the offset's a little bit different just because of the shape of the gem, but it's pretty close to what it was before with the heart. And then we'll need the movement. This is just the same as the heart. And there's one little difference here. We don't hook up that directly to spawn. So in the heart block, we just had spawn connected directly to the movement here. But there's something else that we need to do first for the power up, and that's set the name of the power up because the player needs to know what power up it's getting. So we'll do set power up name, and we'll call it fire. Alright, and then for the block itself, we don't need to change too much, which is like the advantage of doing most of the script on the block instead of the power up. We just have to change that to hit 3. Now when we hit this, this comes out, and then we can collect it. Right now, collecting it doesn't do anything, but we're going to set that up next. So to set that up, we have to use the player script, and so the first thing that we are going to do is set the player to be able to shoot if he has that power up. So we're going to use the A button to shoot. So we need the tapped A event, and then we're going to need an if because we want to check whether or not he has that power up. And then for the condition, we're going to use the has power up value function. And we just need to put in the name of the power up, so we'll put in the same name we used, fire. And if that condition is true, we want to spawn a projectile. So for a velocity, so for the velocity, what we want to do is figure out what direction the player is facing. Because if he's facing forward, we want to launch the projectile forward. If he's facing back, we want to launch the projectile back. So we've got a function for that called getPlayerDirection. and then that just gives you a zero, like 1 or -1. So to get the speed that you want, you need to multiply it by whatever speed you want. So we'll use the scalar multiply um, value function. So that goes in as a vector, and then the scalar, we'll give it a speed of 555. And we'll put that in for the velocity. And then we'll just make it do 1 damage. Right now our enemy just has 0 health, so any amount of damage will kill it, but 1 is a good amount in case we decide to change anything later. Okay, so let's test this out. So you can't see, but I'm tapping the A button right now and it's not doing anything. But then once I jump up and get this fire flower, I can tap A and now I get to shoot projectiles. And so we can test that out on our enemy. We'll just drag our enemy over here. We'll get our power up, and then we'll come down and shoot the enemy, and the projectile kills the enemy. So now the projectiles are working, but the other thing that happens in Mario is when you pick up the fire flower, you get like the cooler red suit. So we want to do something like that in our game. So we'll look at the different images for the player by going to change image, and you see that image 4 is like a nice red guy. So we can have him change to that red guy when he picks up the power up. So we'll go back to the player script, and we're going to use the power up pickup event because that's when we want him to change into the different image. And we'll use the same condition as we did for determining if he can shoot the projectiles. We just want to do has power up fire. And if that condition is true, we want to set the image. And I saw from the list that we just looked at that it was image number 4 is the red guy. So we'll save that, and now we can try this out. Jump up, get the power up, and we turn into the red guy, and then we can shoot the enemy to kill him. So now we've got a fire flower that lets us turn into the red suit guy and shoot projectiles once we collect it.